G'day viewers, my name is Michael and welcome to Single Racer. But unfortunately it looks like I'm going to have to abandon my planned video for a little while because I appear to have run into a possible bug, and that's because of my anal desire to use a 240 wheel rotation. And so just to give you an example here, if we open up my Logitech G29 software and we go to here, I have my speed sensitivity set to 100 because I need that with a low wheel rotation so that I can turn the wheel correctly in slow hairpins and very slow bends. So I have it correctly set here, but now let's go into the sim and I'll show you what appears to be this bug in the new early access update. Okay, so let me show you this bug that I've noticed. Now mind you, in the last 3 updates this didn't happen before, so it was working, so I've got to assume it's some sort of bug. But just for the sake of it, I'll quickly calibrate my wheel so you can see it in action there. And I go back to the center here at 0 and I use a tighter wheel rotation, you know, 240 to 540 in between there. So we'll say 1160 is kind of roughly there. I'll just do it quickly just to show you. And we go save, and then I do the pedals as well. And one thing with the pedals is my throttle was working on the clutch, and that's because you need to assign it first and then go to calibrate your pedals, just in case that's happening to you. But what it is here is on this setup here is that I have everything on 100, so throttle, brake and the steering sensitivity, and I've had that for the last 3 updates. But what happens now is you have to watch very carefully, so watch the 50 there as I set it to 100. Now as I go back, and by the way, I'm using this was in the early access version, but I also own the beta version, which just gives you the DLC and the things they are updating a couple of days early so that you can test it before everyone else, and that's what you pay for to get the beta. But now I'm in the beta to see if it does it as well, and when I go back, see, it goes back to 50. So I set it at 100 and it goes back to 50 as I click out. So what I was going to do was an AI test in a couple of different areas, not just a standard AI test, but trying to test different parts of the AI in different ways. But I just don't feel like I can race properly because I'm so used to racing like an F1 car with the tight wheel that I just don't feel I can race properly and give you a proper and accurate video based on my racing against the AI, given that it feels so strange to have this very low 50 wheel sensitivity. But luckily, VRC have come to the rescue. So let's go to that video instead. Okay folks, so hopefully that AMS2 bug for me will be fixed soon, but given that I can't do that video, I'm going to feature this car instead. This is the brilliant new VRC Auriel 90. Now I'm driving what's called the BOP version or BOP version, and that's to match it with 5 gears instead of 6 to be able to run next to my other favourite VRC car, or GTO car at least, the Chevrolet 28, and that's what I'm going to feature in this video. Now just a bit of housekeeping as far as the Chevrolet 28 has been actually updated, probably most likely to match this car. So if you have the version 1.2, it's been updated to 1.3 if you're not aware of that. And also I'm featuring it on a new track that I've never driven, at least never driven in AC, and that is the Watkins Glen track that was made famous probably by the best NASCAR game to this date, which was NASCAR 2003, and I knew that track well. Now, to be honest, at the time of recording this vocal, I have not driven this new mod track in Assetto Corsa, so this should be interesting, but I'm not going to do any commentary just because I was kind of mucked up with my plans with the AMS2 video, so I'll just let them feature on their own. So this is Michael signing out for Single Racer. I'll catch you next time. See you later, and let's go GTO racing. Okay folks, so as we get ready to race these two GTOs, let me get set for me. Oh, it's hanging on and we're off, and I missed the start. What a shocking start, but let's see how we go in this brilliant mod track. I think I called it the Watkins Glen before, but it's the Watkins Glen track from NASCAR 2003. And I've got to be a little bit careful here because in practice the tyres were cold, and I hit that fence a couple of times as I was just taking it a bit easier, trying to get the tyres warmed up. And it's amazing how, as a sim racer, you can just feel that the tyres don't have optimum grip as I be a little careful. Oh, coming in, I thought I was going to whack the rear end of him there for a second, so I had to kind of get out of it a little bit as we fly around this section. Now, I don't remember this section from the actual original game, NASCAR 2003. I could have sworn that the layout was a bit different. I'll have to see if I can get footage on YouTube to see what it was like. But it could just be my old memory failing too, of course, as this car, I don't know if the car's heavy, but it wants to understeer. It just seems to be the natural way the car handles as we come up to this corner. This is probably the most difficult corner for me here. As you get there, you can just feel the weight or the understeer pushing. But what I find even more interesting compared to something like the Lotus, where I can throttle dab and get the rear end to slide out, almost like a drift car. You know, you're treating it like a drift car when it's rear wheel drive, but this thing almost crab crawls there. As I got mucked up by that dust there, or the smoke I should say. I'll use the old sim racing rule book number 247 there. I got blinded by the smoke in that one, any excuse of course. As I can feel now the tyres warming up here. I can sort of stay with that Chevrolet 28, but I just can't seem to make any ground on it. And to be honest, as I hit the gutter there, or the curbing, another mistake. But I love this type of racing where it's not getting away from you, but you can't quite catch it, and you've got to drive really perfectly. And I love driving through this section here. The curves are reasonably high, but they're not, you can hit them quite hard as long as you've got a good setup. They're not spinning you out like some curbs do in some of the tracks. So as we get the grip now, I can feel the grip coming back to me, and I've got to focus a little bit more here. So let's try and get through this corner a little bit better. Yeah, definitely the tyres are warming up now. So it's funny that I just can't catch it though. It's like and actually that's probably the biggest compliment you can give VRC, given that they tried to match this mod, which is, because there's two versions, one with 6-speed and this has got the 5-speed, to match the Chevrolet 28. So we seem to be really matched perfectly once you find the strength level of that car. And so let me try now. There, I mucked up that one there. I was going to say let me try for as perfect a third lap as I can. So this is the final lap, but let's go for it anyway. And just try and see if I can catch it. Yeah, I definitely got the grip now. If I can just hang on a little bit wide there, but not too bad. But I should be able to take this now at full pace. So I made the mistake of hitting the curb, but I won't do that this time. That's much better, much better. Now I'm gonna use, because this track gives you different types of the way you hit the throttle, and I'm gonna use Ferrari Man 601's technique here, coming up as we get through this fantastic section. I had to leave this in. You've got a couple of options, but here it's like half throttle, Ferrari Man style. Just hold it on half throttle. That's it, that's much better. Come down here. Now, I didn't muck that up a bit, but this next one is what I call the toothpaste thing, where you're just trying to squeeze out the throttle. So you initially go half throttle here and then squeeze it on, that's it, and build up to full pressure of the throttle there. I'm catching him. This is much better, but I think it's more to do with the tyres being warmed up. And I hit him. Look, I'll ease back a bit there because that was a bit unfair. So, but I might be able to still take him here if I can find a way to get past. The trouble with these corners is you can't come in the inside, otherwise you just won't make the corner. So I kind of have to sacrifice and give in to him just to make it around the corner properly. So I try and do better, and I just go into a slide, and no good. But I'm happy with the lap though. He didn't get away from me. That's the main thing. So as we go into the pits here, let's have a look around now. One thing about this track, it is sort of fairly deserted when you get out and have a look around there. Though that airship looks fantastic, and the Chevrolet 28 there, parked there. But let's have a look inside, more detailed look at this incredible Auriel 90 by VRC, and just have a look at because this is an old school car. It's got the old school dials there, and I'm almost out of fuel, it's telling me, and we've got the engine RPM and speed buttons there, windscreen, wipers and all that, and that's probably the start mechanism and the gearing there. I love the way the gear lever shakes there. So this is Michael signing out for Single Race. I hope you enjoyed that as we look at the turbo bar there. So this is Michael signing out for Single Racer. I'll catch you next time. See you later.